What's everyone doing in here? Oh, no eggs this morning. No duck eggs anyway. Not in here. Hey, Red. This is my beautiful rooster. Okay. That sounds creepy. No, you're staying right here. No. We got 2 duck eggs. Those are 2 dummy chicken eggs. Actually, they're actual chicken eggs that I found in a clutch. I wasn't sure how old they were. And I just wanted to get the ducks laying in here. So I put the eggs in there and it worked. Hi, I'm Tina with Kinship Nutrition. Welcome back to my kitchen. Today I'm going to talk about eggs, specifically chicken eggs and duck eggs. Well, one reason because I raise both chickens and ducks. Okay, so let's just talk about eggs that you can buy in the grocery store. What you'll see are tons of different terms. Some are terms from the USDA, some are marketing terms. So for example, cage-free eggs. What does this mean? It means that the chickens don't live in cages, which are actually small cages. I think less than 1 square foot of a cage is what caged chickens live in. Oh, of course you won't see that as a marketing term, caged chickens. But when you are, let's say, at a Safeway or a Kroger, the egg that isn't labeled cage-free, free-range, or pastured, and is at a very low price point, is probably a chicken raised in a cage. Very little movement, no access to outdoors, really just living for the production of the egg. The next term you might see is free range. So those are chickens that live in a covered warehouse type barn area. So the free range means that the chickens are not caged and that they have access to the outdoors. So the access to the outdoors could mean a very small area outside where the chickens may not actually go in their lifetime. They might go out there. It might be a concrete area. When you see free range, you might think, oh, they're free ranging on grass. They're not. They most likely live most of their lives indoors. The other term that you will see is pastured. Now, the idea of pastured and free range, that sort of sounds like the same thing. However, pastured is more the concept of chickens actually grazing on pasture. This is not a term that is regulated by the FDA, so this can be heavily marketed. If an egg carton is labeled pastured, yes, the chickens may be on pasture, but they may not. So my advice to you is know your farmer, or do research into the company that you're buying eggs from. This company is Vital Farms. These are readily available at our local co-op and Whole Foods. And when I cook for clients, this is typically what I'll go for because these are organic and pasture raised. And if you look inside, they will give you a website where you can go. You can enter the farm name that's on the side of the carton, and then you can actually see a view of the farm. So here's their little information on the side on how to look up where the farm is. Ideally, you know your farmer. I mean, the gold standard would be that you know your farmer and you see the farm where the chickens forage. That's not realistic for everyone. And now that consumers are demanding more humane care for animals that they're consuming, you see more pastured raised eggs in the store, or at least I do, than ever before. But today I'm talking about my chicken eggs and my duck eggs. Okay, so I'm gonna crack open each egg and I'll talk about it a little bit since we were just talking about these pastured eggs from Vital Farms. I'm gonna crack it open and you'll see a pretty yellow yolk, a white that's yellowy also, a little bit yellow also. And now I will crack open, this is an egg from one of my chickens. My chicken's free range here all day, every day, all year long. And you can see, actually, you can see how much more yellow or orange this egg is than this one. So I think you'll notice that in pastured eggs, in eggs where the chickens are foraging on grass, you will see eggs that are more yellow, even a vibrant yellow when you crack open that yolk. That's because the grass contains beta carotene that gets passed through to the yolk. And so like beta carotene, like the carotenoids that you find in carrots and yellow vegetables. That's an indicator of what the chicken is eating. One thing though about store-bought eggs, conventionally raised eggs, or free range or cage-free eggs, is that you might find that they have quite a yellow yolk. So you might think, oh well, maybe they were foraging on grass. It's very common for egg producers to provide some spices or spice mixes into the chicken feed that create a yellow color in the egg. So don't be fooled by the color of the yolk. It's not always the best indicator, but you can see these two here very clearly a difference. You can also see like just the even though these are both pastured, you can just see that this one looks more yellow. Okay, so let's crack open a duck egg and then we'll talk a little bit about duck eggs. Now, these shells are very hard to crack. So I have to hit them very hard on the side of the counter or the dish that I am using. Okay, the first thing that you might notice is, wow, that's a really big yolk. Well, the egg itself is bigger, so I would expect the yolk to be bigger. Also, the white, the egg white, is very white. Duck eggs have a different nutritional profile than chicken eggs. They are higher in omega-3 fatty acids. The protein profile is different, so some people with sensitivity to chicken eggs may be able to eat duck eggs. The duck eggs are higher in B12 and choline and selenium and also in cholesterol. It's not just the size of the egg, it's the actual nutrient density of the duck egg that is higher in protein, fat, and some vitamins. And so let's talk about cholesterol. Yes, these are higher in cholesterol, but y'all should know by now that the dietary cholesterol, or the cholesterol that we eat from foods, is not the same thing as the cholesterol in our blood. It does not equate 1 to 1. Our bodies need cholesterol. Our bodies need cholesterol for every cell in our body, for hormone production. Vitamin D is dependent on cholesterol. Cholesterol is essential. It was demonized for a very long time, but now that there's a lot of research out there. However, you may still find a lot of dietary recommendations suggesting reducing cholesterol in your diet. I would just be very curious about that and question where that information is coming from. So let's talk about duck eggs versus chicken eggs in cooking. I find them to be a little bit richer and creamier because there's more protein. They seem to set up a little bit more than a chicken egg. Duck eggs are awesome for baking. Higher protein and fat in the duck eggs make them really great for baking. I wouldn't necessarily substitute them out 1 to 1 because the size difference. These eggs are probably the equivalent of jumbo chicken eggs, so that might be a scenario where you might want to get a weight for your eggs versus 1 egg or 2 eggs. We've raised chickens for 9 years now, and they are great. They're pretty easy to take care of. We added ducks this year. They were probably the easiest to incorporate into our farm life. Their personalities are just really sweet and mellow. They don't get frantic like the chickens. They're just very sweet and gentle, and I just love their nature. They are consistent layers. They lay every single day. They have been laying in various places around the barnyard, and I've been trying to get them to lay in one place so I can get their eggs every day. However, the dogs have been enjoying them on a regular basis because sometimes the ducks just lay in the barn or in the barnyard. I've been implementing some strategies to get them to lay where I want them to lay. I really enjoy raising them. Their eggs, the shell of the duck egg is very hard. This is waterfowl, so they are more likely to be raised around mud and water. The shell of the egg is a lot harder to protect from the environment. Now this also means that we get a better shelf life on the duck eggs than we do on the chicken eggs, which is cool. Especially since I have an abundance of duck eggs right now, despite using a ton for Thanksgiving last week. So that's just a little bit about eggs. I'll be using a lot of eggs for the Christmas season. I love baking. I love baking cookies. I'm gonna do either a whole grain or gluten-free baking class, virtual baking class via Zoom. If you are interested in whole grain or gluten-free, please let me know so I can plan accordingly. I love baking both ways. If you've seen my video on whole grains, you know how passionate I am about utilizing whole grains and how grains are good for you. So I hope this was informative. Thank you for watching. I will see you soon. What? I'm not talking to you. I'm recording. I don't even know. I don't know. I don't know why. Different profile.
making money, you get the internet. Yeah, if you make it, it's right. If you're watching Netflix and I gotta make money, or I'm watching Netflix, well then you get the internet. That was the rule.
My husband, Justin, is quite boisterous in there today.